Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. There are fears of a second wave of the coronavirus in Germany after a large area was locked down due to a new outbreak of the virus. The area of Gütersloh, with around 360,000 residents, is the first in Germany to go back into lockdown after authorities began to lift restrictions at the end of April. More than 1,500 workers at a meat processing plant have tested positive for the virus, plus some of their family members and 24 people with no connection to the plant. Meanwhile, pubs, restaurants, hotels and hairdressers can open from the 4th of July in England, when social distancing rules will be eased. Prime Minister Boris Johnson said people should remain 2 metres apart where possible, but a 1 metre plus rule will be introduced from that date. Meanwhile, Brazil continues to be the centre of the pandemic in South America, with new hotspots being identified in the state of Sao Paulo as the number of cases soar in the country. Local health officials in the state reported the local health system was close to chaos. Brazil has already passed the number of 1 million cases, second only to the United States, and reported a record 54,000 infections in just 24 hours. President Jair Bolsonaro has been widely criticised for his handling of the crisis. The country still has no permanent health minister after the 2 previous ones resigned. Saudi Arabia has announced it will bar arrivals from abroad to attend the Hajj this year due to the coronavirus pandemic. The ministry that oversees pilgrimages said in a statement it will only allow a limited number of Saudi citizens and residents to make the pilgrimage. This will be the first year in modern times that Muslims from around the world will not be allowed to make the annual pilgrimage to Mecca, which all Muslims aim to perform at least once in their lifetime. And Jacob Zuma has appeared in court facing multiple charges of racketeering, fraud, corruption and money laundering. Zuma is being tried on 16 charges relating to a $2 billion arms deal with the French defence firm Thales in 1999 when he was deputy president. Mr. Zuma rejects all allegations as a politically motivated witch hunt. The French company Thales has said it had no knowledge of any transgressions by any of its employees in relation to the award of the contracts. Malawi has gone to the polls for the second time in 4 months after the Constitutional Court overturned the result of the previous elections in February over systematic and grave irregularities. The previous poll was won by the incumbent Peter Mutharika, but his disputed win sparked popular anger, leading to months of anti-government protests. The vote looks too close to call. Malawi has since ditched its first-past-the-post system, and now the winner has to get more than 50%. China has successfully launched the last satellite of its Beidou navigation satellite system. This final satellite is the 55th of the Beidou constellation, completing a system which experts define being unique compared to other geonavigation systems. The BDS will be China's self-developed global navigation satellite system. It aims to rival the best-known American GPS system. North Korea has started to reinstall loudspeakers blaring propaganda across the border with the South. The system was taken down after the 2 Koreas signed an accord in 2018 to cease all hostile acts. The South Korean Defense Ministry declared that Pyongyang would have to pay for the consequences if it continues to defy joint efforts to foster peace. 15 inhabitants of an indigenous village in southern Mexico have been killed in an attack labelled one of the most brutal crimes to shake the countryside in recent years. State prosecutors in the state of Oaxaca said the bodies of 13 indigenous men and 2 women were identified as victims of the attacks. According to local authorities, the attackers tortured and burned alive a number of their victims. The 2 women killed had been protesting against abuses by one of the suspected attackers, who'd been linked to a local crime boss. And finally, a new Japanese supercomputer has been recognized as the most powerful system in the world. Fugaku, that's the name of the supercomputer, was evaluated by Top 500, a listing of the world's most powerful computers announced by an international conference of experts. Fugaku will be used for climate modelling, biotechnology research and to simulate nuclear blasts. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.